Hello, party people. My name is Clarence Rick Napier, the insurance brokerage president. We are licensed in 12 states, which include Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Washington State, California, and Texas. And today is June 14th, 2025. And I'm also the president at 321 Biz Development, located both in Metro Atlanta and San Francisco. And 321 Biz Dev is the home of the 5 sales activities, and we teach people how to master contacting, prospecting, setting appointments, closing, and getting zero-cost referrals. So today's podcast episode is about the struggle when you have a business, and more so when you're struggling to find clients for your business. Now, there are 2 forms of the struggle. The first struggle is when you know you need customers and everything in the world is stopping you from reaching out to new people, which means you need to start at the contacting phase, then the prospecting stage, and the setting appointments, and the closing. And just those 4 are part of mastering getting out of the struggle. But like I said, this first part of the struggle, many people don't want to do it. And I have a great example. Just yesterday, I was talking to a real estate investor I met on social media. And if any of you know me well, you know I don't put a lot of confidence in social media. And yesterday just proved my point. So I made a compliment to a person who was a real estate investor, and more so a real estate attorney somewhere on the East Coast. And so I said, okay, yeah, so thanks for your comments about the particular topic. And the person said, great, what did you like about it? I said, hey, I thought this was great. And then I said, I have some questions about your business. Because social media, there are so many things going on there. And 99% of the time, people don't even talk about their business. They talk about other stuff. So I said, hey, tell me more about your business. And the very first question, or the very first response that I got back was, do you want to invest in real estate? I mean, okay, so that may be a question that could have been asked maybe 10 to 15 minutes down the road when we are talking on the phone or face to face. But the very first response I got from this attorney was, do you want to invest in real estate? And I said, hold on. I said, I really wanted to just ask you some questions about your business. And I kind of described what I do. There's no sales pitch there. And the person replied with, oh, there's a lot of, you can earn passive income by being a real estate investor. And I pretty much backed out of it, because when you make your first introduction to anybody, you want to at least establish some rapport. So I didn't go out and talk about my company in terms of a sales pitch on this first interaction. What I wanted to do was talk to this person over the phone, because that's how I roll. But this person went straight for the pitch. And folks, I'm telling you, that's not a good way of running your business. I don't care if it's social media or if it's face-to-face somewhere in a coffee shop or a bank or in the mall someplace. That's not the way to do a first engagement to someone who may or may not be your next client, or may and may not be a qualified prospect. And the reason why I'm saying may or may not be, particularly on may not be, even though if I did not have any interest in real estate investing, the way that this person, started the engagement can either be a turn on or a turn off. In this case, it was a major turn off. So even if I knew somebody who wanted to invest in real estate, I would not refer this person to this real estate attorney that's on the East Coast. So the second example about struggling is you're struggling, but you want to improve what you're doing. So the word struggling has applications in many, many different things. Personal life, losing weight, you want to stop smoking, you want to stop drinking, something that you want to change. So in this second example, the way to overcome struggling is to put in some effort. And at 321 Biz Development, the effort that we're talking about is using the 321 Biz Dev sales system, which has a name, by the way. I haven't mentioned the name that much because I have a book coming out, and I want to keep the name of the book private until the book launches. But there is a name to the sales system. So what that means is that when you're struggling, you're struggling, you need 5 clients in the month of June, the month of July. So what do you have to do? You have to go through the contacting phase, the setting up, the prospecting stage, the setting appointment stage, the closing stage, and then the 5th one, getting zero cost referrals. Because the only way to methodically get out of the struggle is that you have to have a system to get out of the struggle, and you have to put effort into getting out of the struggle. And for the week of June 16th, I've added some new clients, 2 clients, one in Georgia, one in San Francisco, and one in Florida, actually 3 clients. And then I have some existing clients, and all of them I'm trying to help with their business to get their businesses to grow. Now, some of these people have never owned a business. In fact, some of these people, and they're all qualified, they all have credentials, they all have a desire and need to grow their businesses, but they lack the experience of using a sales system. Just like the real estate investor, the attorney, you don't start with telling people all about your product and the price and what you can do for them, because they have to build this rapport. This rapport part is so very important. So I just wanted to do this short podcast episode to let people know that there are 2 types of struggle. One struggle is that you just want to put your business out there in any kind of way you want, which is mostly going to fail. You only have a 7% probability of that working. And the other struggle is to have that same desire to grow your business, but you're using a sales system where you can methodically get to where you want to go. Again, my name is Clarence Napier, the insurance broker, licensed in 12 states. I'm also Clarence Napier, the president at 321 Biz Development. The best number to reach me is 866-901-9876. Take care and have a fantastic week.